Do you know Matt at all, Eric? Matt Thompson, the drummer for King Diamond?
No, I met Mickey D. He had a funny story. I'll save it for another show, maybe, about King Diamond.
Well, I gotta hear it. Don't
go ahead.
Like that.
Come on, man.
Okay.
I'm
still recording
me now, brother. Yeah.
This could be bonus footage.
Yeah. He said that they were. Yeah, it was cool because Mickey D was like, familiar with Tim, and they were friends. So, when we were on tour, we crossed paths with Mickey D a couple of times when we were in Sweden, and he was just, hanging out at the Anthrax show when we played in Gothenburg. But he said, he was telling a story about King Diamond. He said that he, when they were on tour with them, that they had to have like a intervention with them because it was like, instead of a drug intervention, it was like a Satanism intervention. he was hanging all these like satanic images and like pentagrams and all this just crazy satanic stuff all over the bus. So that like the guys in the band were like, whoa, hey King baby, we need to sit you down here. We think you got a problem with the Satan.
You gotta stop with this Satan shit.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like hanging chickens and shit in the bus and stuff. They had to have like a satanic intervention with them.
I think that's the first question I'm going to ask him.
Yeah.
Remember in Gothenburg in Sweden when you had an intervention, King? Are you okay? Hello, kiddies. This is Montag, Master of Illusion. You are listening to part 2 of our interview with Eric Elkins. So let's get right into it.
Hey, this is Ralph Sheepers, and you're listening and watching to Heavy Metal Horror.
We got to get the fuck out of town because there's a guy who's in the cartel who just happens to be in the show, and he's mad at Ed because Ed was giving his woman the eyes, and maybe dry him up in the face too much, doing.
Oh goodness!
Sorry, man.
Too much bass slap in the bass.
So he goes, okay. So this guy George, he's like, okay, I'll play along. So. Like 5-10 minutes after we're done, he comes storming in the dressing room. He's like, yo guys, Vamanos, we gotta go. And he's like, what's going on? We're all like, trying to play along. What's happening? What do you mean? And he's acting like, the sky's falling, man. We need to pack up, get the fuck out of here, And we're like, what's wrong, George? What's wrong? And Tim Ripper's trying to play along too. He's like, oh shit, what's happening? He can't act for shit. Let me tell you. We're like, Tim, dude. You can't, pull it off better now. He's like, oh, geez, what's happening? A little more sense of panic, Tim.
Yeah.
But he comes in and then Ed, he goes, man, this guy's pissed and he's outside and he wants to kick Ed's ass. And Ed's like, what? What did I do? And he's like, Ed, I guess he said you were looking at his old lady while you were playing, and he doesn't like that shit, man. He said you were grinding your bass too much in her direction. It's like, hey, this is nothing, man. What are you talking about? So he's in pure panic mode. And this was kind of like his initiation into the band, so to speak, we got to bust his chops. So anyway, we just let it ride out until it was like, he was literally like, oh my God, I didn't do nothing. He's shaking. And finally, it was like you could see the panic, this pure terror in his eyes, like, oh shit, this guy from the cartel's gonna kill me. And we finally let it, the cat out of the bag. Hey, yeah, we're just fucking with you. And he was so mad. He was like, first person he accused of setting him up was Matt, because Matt was always messing with him. And he grabs Matt and he's like, you motherfucker, I'm gonna kill you. And Matt's like, it wasn't me, it was Eric, And Ed's like, he was telling me that he was getting mad at Matt because Matt was always messing with him. I'm like, Ed, you got to be more aggressive. You got to give it back to Matt, just mess with him back, because that's all Matt is. He just likes to bust your chops and have fun. But
Ed doesn't mess. He's not a messer.
No,
he's just a sweetheart.
He is. Yeah, he doesn't know how to take that. So I go, Ed, you just got to tell him to fuck off. And then one day Matt was giving it to him, and And he goes, you know what, man? Fuck you, man. You know? I go, there you go, Ed. There you go. Let him fucking have it. But yeah, that was our little initiation for Ed into the band back then. I think it was like 2011 or something. It was a fun time though. But yeah,
I used to hang out with Ed in Lakewood, and yeah, he was just like such a nice guy. I used to go drinking with him and stuff like that, and yeah, just hearing that he's in every single Cleveland
that's a small
band
world.
is like hilarious. Yeah, I used to hang out with him a lot.
He's a beautiful soul. Ed is a beautiful soul.
He really is, and so is his sister. You know, they're both great people, and yeah, when I lived in Lakewood,
and a phenomenal bass player.
Yes.
He used to do like a little bit in the School of Rock and stuff like that. And he taught one of my friend's sons bass and stuff like that, you know. So it was always fun to go to those School of Rock shows and stuff. And you know, he just loves music, obviously, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real good guy. So that's funny to hear the stories.
He sucks.
I'm tagging him when this airs, so
Nice.
I text that bastard. He never texts me back. You know? That prick.
Well, what time did you text him? Because you know, there's Ed time. He doesn't get up till like 3 PM. So
that is true. That's like when I get off of work.
yes.
No.
So I guess, you know, another question, Eric, what's going on in your world right now? What some projects that you are involved with? What's going on with Law of Destruction? Or if you could tell us a little bit more about that, please.
Actually, not much of anything. I've been filling in for a buddy's. It's pretty pathetic, actually. No. No. My buddy has like a 90s and early 2000s like rock band, you know, cover band, plays bar gigs. I'll fill in with them. It's fun, you know, no pressure. And then
is that with Dan Cabasa?
Yeah, Bad Juju. Yeah, old school buddies, Dan Cabasa. And,
are you that guy in all those YouTube videos twirling the sticks and going crazy? It's the wrong drummer, the wrong kid.
Dude, I love that guy. Mad Drummer.
He's awesome.
The Mad Drummer. Yeah. He's like world famous because of that now. It's like crazy. I mean, but he's great. Yeah. All at the same time. It's like insane. I was never like a big show, man. I'm like boring to watch. You know, pretty fun.
As long as you can keep a beat, man, you're good.
That's what I was worried about, you know, playing the parts right, you know. Well, that was my main thing.
Well, speaking of, you know, keeping a beat, like, you know, you start off playing these bands, you're traveling all around playing these other shows and on tour, and I mean, how did those experiences change you as a musician, and also how did those experiences change you as a fan?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, you kind of see how guys prepare for shows, and, you know, it's not all, you know, people always have this assumption that, oh man, you're in a band, it's just party chicks and rock and roll and booze. And it's like, no, you're just kind of, it's a lot of boring shit going on. You're just waiting for the show, and you go sightseeing, and, you know, that's what I like to do is, you know, the traveling and seeing places and stuff like that. But, yeah, you kind of, I don't know, just see how they prepare for shows. And you know.
Did you have any rituals?
I try to, you know, drink about 4 or 5 beers. No, I'm just kidding.
Loosen up.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
And then I warm up with the sticks for about 10 seconds before the show. No,
it's good, solid.
Nothing like too crazy. I would just, you know, bang on a pillow. You know, they say if you could do a drum roll on a pillow, then you could do a drum roll on a snare drum. You know what I mean? So yeah, just basically just warm up like that, maybe with some practice pads and pedals and stuff like that, just to get the legs loosened up, and drink lots of water, kids. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
Yep, because you don't want to cramp up, man. You get the forehand and
it's no
that's
joke.
The worst. You like get the lock up, you know, like oof, yeah. So yeah, stay hydrated, stretching and things like that. Yeah, it's not a lot of partying, you know, because you can't do that to yourself. I mean, unless you're 20-something-year-old kid.
Right.
Yeah, right,
right.
Bunch of Keith Richards, right?
Yeah, right. But I learned some good tuning techniques from a couple drummers, just like, hey, what are some ways to tune? And the drummer that's in Foreigner right now, I'm trying to think of his name. I met him out in California. Gosh darn it. Chris is his first name, but he was actually in the band that I joined out there, Speak No Evil. He was in the band before me, but he was kind of like a freelance drummer for hire, kind of guy. And he just went where the next best, paying gig was and stuff, and touring and stuff like that. But he was really, really taught me a lot of cool techniques for, just really basic in a sense for tuning your drum, like stripping the shell completely down to just the lugs, take all the tuning keys out and the rims and heads off. And if you just tap that drum shell, there's a natural tone. If you listen in a quiet room, each drum shell has a tone, and he said you could sit there with a keyboard and find that key on, or your bass, or, have your bass player match that tone. And if you tune the drum to that true tone of the shell, that's like, the best that you could tune that drum, so that's what you kind of strive for. He gave me that little, so basically you just take a little piece of tape it on the inside of your shell and mark whatever, if it's an A or B or C or D, whatever key that is, and tune the shell to that. So I learned that little kind of boring stuff, but it makes this drum sound that much better. You don't realize that until, simple things like, hey, don't hit when you're coming down on your snare, don't hit your leg with because I had a bad habit of hitting the wrist would make contact with my leg, on the power stroke on the snare. And he said, you're taking away, power from that hit on the snare, so don't do that. He was just, he actually watched me play and like helped me with my mechanics and things like that, which was really cool. Keep your hands open, don't have a tight grip on the sticks like that, too rigid, keep your fingers loose and stuff like that. Maintain a grip, but a loose grip in a way,
I know Montag will really appreciate that being from
I'd seen Nico McGrain talk about tuning his drums that way too. But his, as we'll talk about, his drums are just way too low and thuddy. They're muddy sounding, at least on recording. And but I'd seen him do that to hit the shell. I've seen that technique before, and because I've always got that one tom that just I can't get the right tone. Like a couple of the other ones come in nicely, but there's one. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why won't you tune? Well,
Right.
Yeah, and that's probably would fix it right there. Yeah, that's cool. I said I used to love that kit you had. You had like an orange kit, like an orange red kit. I don't know if you remember that back in the Crypt Kicker days. Do you still have that kit?
I had like Ludwig. It was kind of like a natural maple kit. Was it like a golden kind of color?
No, this was like an orange color. This was like an orange color. It was like totally orange. Like
that one was probably that pearl. I had a pearl that was like an amber wood grain looking for a little while.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a gorgeous kit. Yeah.
But I still have that Ludwig. I sold that pearl, and I took the Ludwig and I put these like World War II British Spitfire warplane wraps on them. So the shells sort of look like the skin of a warplane, got the rivets on the wrap and stuff, makes it, and it kind of fits the Maiden Voyage, Maiden tribute theme.
Yeah, right.
Totally. The whole
nice
Aces High kind of thing. So
yeah.
But, I bought them from some company. They're online. They're called sixskins.com. They're out of Seattle, but they have like major drummers on their roster that they endorse, make skins for. They actually did the Mad Drummer, that guy that does the crazy twirl stuff. He's got that flame wrap. That
nice.
White with the red and blue flame. That's the company that makes that wrap. The company that I bought my wraps from. They have like a bunch of cool designs, to choose from. Plus, they do a lot of custom work for them. That wrap?
Yeah.
It's cool because it's just a tape strip instead of being a completely glued on surface. So you don't have to worry about harming your shell. But you have to totally strip the drum apart, take all the, the lugs and everything, every nut and bolt and mount off the shell, and all your vent holes, your badges. If you have a badge on there, you got to take the badges off too. which can, the old Ludwigs, they're glued on, so you got to be careful not to damage them. A lot of the newer drums are either painted on badges or they're bolted on, where the vent hole, usually where the vent hole of the drum is where the badge will be placed on a lot of drums nowadays. Except for DW, they still like mount the badge like screwed on, but it's mounted instead of glued on.
Okay.
But yeah, you basically got to strip it down and then wrap it. It's pretty simple. It's just time consuming, a little tedious, but they came out great. And that kit was beat to death. I played like a ton of Crypt Kicker shows. We had a human, the singer back in the Peabody's days invited everybody up for the encore onto the stage. It was an old Spud Monsters move, like not Chip Foose, I almost said Don Foose from the Spud Monsters would invite people on stage. That was like their shtick, like, all right, we want everybody on stage, and they would like just totally destroy the stage moshing. That was like the Spud Monsters thing. And then our singer Rob, back at the old, Crypt Kicker days in the 90s, decides, hey, we're gonna invite everybody on stage. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like 30-40 dudes just moshing, and guys crowd surfing on top of the pit, on top of the stage, into the pit, down lower into the floor area of people. And then they're just destroying my drums, completely knocked the drums over. We had another band like form like a human wall to protect me so we could finish the song. But they've been through like tons of, they've been pissed on, bled on. Literally, I had a buddy, they were in a closet. I had a party one night. He woke up, thought the closet was the bathroom, starts pissing all over my drums.
It's like Step Brothers.
So weird. Yeah, that's like a real thing that happens. It's not
Like not in your symbol.
stories of
At least it wasn't in your drink.
yeah, right. At least it wasn't a screwdriver.
Yeah.
Now that's a
Well,
drink.
Eric, I was going to ask you a question about, because I had a cassette, and it was a live cassette at the time, and you guys covered Slayer's Dead Skin Mask, which was phenomenal. Tell me a little bit about that, because that was a big draw on that. That was quite impressive, and to take on Dave Lombardo's, drum parts and do that, and with finesse and respect that you gave to it is really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was fun to play. That was probably the easiest song we could learn.
Wow.
Least challenging Slayer
okay.
song, for us. So yeah, that's plus it's a great tune. But yeah, it kind of fit. Like it's a little more mid-paced of a Slayer song, not so thrashy,
Mhm.
But I love the old thrashy stuff. I would have loved to do like Rain of Blood or something, or Angel of Death, for crying out loud. I don't know if I could do the double bass part, but I'd try, But yeah, we did that. That was a Halloween show we recorded in '97 at Peabody's, and yeah, we recorded that whole entire concert and then released it the year following on the double disc that we released in '98 with the full 14 new songs plus the 12 or 14 live tracks that were recorded at Peabody. So it was pretty cool. I think it was different at the time for a band back then. I don't think anybody had ever done that from a local band. We weren't signed, so we were just doing it on our own, putting it out on, with our own money. And
That was impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool, and I think I love Slayer, man. I mean, who doesn't? If you don't, you're lame.
You're not a metal fan if you don't.
You're not a metal fan.
You don't have a pulse. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
But
that's great.
yeah,
Thank you.
that was probably the reason why we chose Dead Skin Mask, because it was the easier Slayer things to be honest.
There's not too many mid-tempo Slayer songs to choose from.
No,
That's about it. You had mentioned sponsorships before. I saw that you were sponsored, at least at one time, by Soul Tone Cymbals. I'm not sure if you still are, but I always wanted to know how sponsorship works, because I've known other bands. I know the former drummer for Mr. Speed, Andrew Scobbati, the Kiss tribute band, and he had gotten a sponsorship from Ricky Rocket's drum company. So I just wanted, how does that sponsorship work? I mean, do they approach you? Do you approach them? Do you buy it at cost? Do they give them to you? Because I know, with the big guys, Mickey D, he's sponsored by, Paiste is a symbol, and he goes through a China. He says every 2 shows he gets a new China because he just beats the shit out of it. So I'm like, Yeah, he is. He's like he's just the most insane power drummer. You know, playing for Scorpions now, it's like having a fucking Ferrari at a Yugo, race. But how does the sponsorship work for you? You know, how did that happen?
Yeah, I'm not endorsed by them, and it was like, you know, you got your different levels of endorsement deals. You know, like your A-list stars get like basically a full ride. You know what I mean? Like they don't really pay for gear at all. You know, because they're at a level where they're getting the exposure. You know, to say, hey, look what I'm playing. I'm playing Tama drums, or I'm playing Ludwig or DW or Zildjian or Sabian, or, you know, so those guys are going to get the top deal, and then guys like me are getting like the Z list rate,
Artist endorsements,
Some free
Right.
stickers.
Yeah, you're basically
T-shirt.
paying at cost. You know, and you know, they were nice cymbals. I didn't buy like a whole set actually, but you still have to pay for them. But you're not paying like, you know, your average Joe would pay.
You're
if they
paying
went to
wholesale,
Guitar
right?
Center.
Yeah, you're paying
You know,
cost,
which is a good deal
cost.
in the long run. You know,
Sure.
and
I mean, as a working musician, you can't afford to be blowing through any money you make on equipment.
Anything, if you're getting the sticks, if you're not getting them for free, but you're not paying $10 a pair, you're paying $5 a pair for
Right.
them. That's great too, you know? So, yeah, that was the kind of stuff I got, you know, was, you know, just mid-level endorsement offers. Trick Drum offered me an endorsement, but they make like all aluminum shells. I don't know if you've heard of Trick Drums, but they're out of Chicago. They were really cool. They offered like tons of different, you know, customizations, but they're really best known for their like snare throw off for the snares. They make a really cool throw off design.
Yeah.
And a lot of their foot pedals. I think Lamb of God drummer Chris Adler was endorsed by Trick Drums, you know, for like their pedals or their snare throw offs, that kind of stuff, you know. But they actually offered me an endorsement deal. But yeah, it was just like, you still have to pay for these. And at the time, I'm like, you know, I'll just stick to what I got. You know, I'm not endorsed by Pearl, but I'm playing Pearl, you know. And yeah, it was just, you know, you still had to come out of pocket with some money, you know, if you wanted, even though it was less. But yeah, DW, it was cool because when we toured with Anthrax, you know, Simon Wright was endorsed by DW, so I was lucky enough to be able to use his endorsement deal to have like DW kits provided for me to play when we did our Anthrax tour, and they had like Evans hats and Vic Firth sticks. And it wasn't my deal, but it was like all the stuff that he would use, you know, for his kits, you know, and I could still get sticks my size through Simon Wright. Thank you, Simon, if you're listening.
That's
you're
cool.
Awesome.
Awesome,
but it was
man.
cool. I got to use DW and Evans and Vic Firth stuff, and you know,
It's a big
was
difference.
cool.
Like when you switch kits, you could tell the difference between stuff that's top tier and stuff that's mid-level, stuff that's, you know, entry level. You know, having played all three levels, you know, when I started off with an old Tempro, that was my first drum kit, which was an old jazz kit. It was a Pearl knockoff, or Pearl remake in a Japanese Pearl brand called Tempro, and then I got a Gretsch kit. And I, like you with your kit, I had two jazz kits, and I formed a big 9-piece I had a blue drum set and a gold drum set. And so the only way I could kind of make them somewhat uniform is I put Garbage Pail Kid stickers all over them, you know? And that was like, you know, because I mean, that's what I played. And I had a bunch of crappy old Zildjian cymbals that I broke. Every Zildjian cymbal I had, I broke. So which is why I liked Peisty, because I could, you know, I could play. I used the foot end of the stick, and I just duct taped the head, and I just played like that. And because they were cheap sticks, they were $2 a pair. I'm like, fuck, I'll buy these, you know? But I broke every Zildjian cymbal. So I always thought I needed a heavier cymbal. But once you play on a really nice kit, it's like, oh, okay, now I know what I've been missing. My first time playing like a really nice double bass pedal. It's like, oh fuck, I could have been playing so much better if I had a decent piece of equipment. I had my kick, you know, my pedal had like a leather strap. You know, pulling it down. It wasn't a chain drive. There was no fucking chain drive. It was two springs and a leather strap. You know,
remember the old Speed Kings, the old Ludwig Speed King pedals?
Yeah.
They just had a fix. There was no adjustments. you can't adjust any springs or nothing like on the new ones like you can nowadays.
Now everything's totally adjustable.
That's what I had to learn on, and I learned on a single bass kit, and I love Led Zeppelin, so it was like I never.
John Bonham.
Yeah, that's my dude right there. Yesterday, the anniversary of his death yesterday.
Yes.
Rest in peace, John Bonham. But yeah, I learned on a single bass kit. I just refused to play double bass because I was like, if it's good enough for Bonham, it's good enough for me. I got really quick with 1 foot on that old Speed King. Right. And then once I got a Yamaha or a DW 5000, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, these are like butter. You can just fly,
Right.
But man, and it's almost good exercise to play on that garbage, old antiquated equipment.
Yeah, I know. That's a good point.
Most of my time I had it. That's I played garbage, so I get it. Right,
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, it works, I guess, in a way.
Right.
Well, right. I've heard that Zildjians are like almost like it's more brittle than the other cymbals out there. Yeah, actually, they were, obviously Zildjian, that's what you get. But, hearing these stories and what you guys went through with them and how it's almost like they're almost cheaper than what the other, I don't know. Man, I don't
think they're cheaper. I think they were,
but,
they have different lines that they tend to be a little thinner than like when Peisty came out. What made them different, at least for when I played, like they had the heavier 2002s. It was a heavier cymbal made precisely for heavier rock. And then they brought the Rudes out, which was even heavier yet with a darker. They weren't lathed, they were hand hammered. And that was even a heavier cymbal. So whereas like Neil Peart always played like the Zildjian because he liked the way they sounded on recording, but they're a little thinner. They're a quicker attack, a thinner decay, decays quickly. But that's the only experience that, every cymbal company is a little different. And now they make so many lines, you could get any sound you want. What was your experience, Eric? What was your preference for cymbals?
I kind of use like a hodgepodge of everything. Like I got Zildjian hats and I got Zildjian ride, a couple old Zildjian rides that are like from the 70s and shit. But they just have a good bell to them, man. They sound good, And there's something about those old cymbals from the 70s too that they just don't make the metals aren't the same, It's just different. And but yeah, I actually like a lot of Sabians. I play Sabians. I think I get a little more life out of Sabians because I would just eat up China's like Zildjian China's like nothing, and it seems like I get a lot more life out of the Sabians for whatever reason. But I like I do like Zildjian cymbals. Like I got a nice Zildjian splash I use a lot, and a couple little Zill bells, the little ice bells. I have a nice ping to them, little accent, little 9 and 6 inch Zill bells. But I got a couple pasty Chinas and just a little bit of everything, But predominantly, I love Ludwig. Ludwig drums, they just always sound big and boomy. It doesn't matter who's fucking playing them. Ringo Starr, the drums sound great. John Bonham, drums sound great. He's a great player, but there's something about the drums too, and the snare drums. You can't beat a Ludwig snare drum, Get you a Superphonic or, or something like that, and you can't go wrong. It's like the most recorded snare drum in history. Like no snare drum has been recorded for more songs than a Ludwig Superphonic, excuse me. But I love DW pedals. I've been playing DW 9000s like for years. I love those pedals. They're great. They're durable as hell. But I got a Tama kit that I love. It's a Tama Star Classic, but being a birch, it sounds friggin' great, and it's not the top of the line maple or exotic woods that are real like, pricey, so it's not an entry level, kids kit for $400 either. It's going to cost you a couple grand, for a 5-piece shell. Kit or something, but
sure.
There's something about the old vintage instruments too. You just, I saw an interview with the dude from oh my gosh, he's a singer. He looks like kind of like the 90s Johnny Cash, that rebel looking. I can see his face. I can't remember the freaking band. They're kind of popular, like alternative band. But the singer, damn it, it's gonna really bug me now. It's not Sonic Youth. Social Distortion.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the singer said, "Hey, I got this old guitar. It's like a 1958 Telecaster or whatever it was, right?" He goes, "You think about it. This guitar was cut from a tree that was probably 100 years old. That tree was from the 1800s or more. You know, it might have been a 200-year-old tree." And he goes, "You know, these new guitars are made out of fast growth wood. These trees are grown in like 10 to 20 years, and then they cut them up and make stuff out of them, you know, furniture and instruments and stuff." But it was just like the thought of that is like, yeah, that guitar is made out of a chunk of wood that's probably 200 years old, you know, and you can't duplicate that, you know, really the time and the stuff and a quality instrument. You get what you pay for too, but you can also buy stuff just for the name, and it's not going to sound any better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, I got this $2,000 snare drum. That $2,000 snare drum isn't going to sound any better than the $500.
Right. You're paying $1,500 for the name.
Yeah, and it looks cool or something. You know, it's made out of some exotic, you know, Tamo ash or something. You know, crazy exotic wood or something. It doesn't really. I mean, unless you're a serious collector and you got a lot of money to waste, you know.
How did Eric? I guess you know. It seemed like Law of Destruction and your other projects are so diverse from Beyond Fear. It's interesting that you went to that now to do what you're doing now, but was that something that you wanted to break away from that? You want to go from, you know, the more harsher from Crypt Kicker and Law of Destruction to Beyond Fear, or was that just something that obviously I don't blame you, opportunity presented itself and that you went on to that? Could you explain a little bit more of it? It's just really interesting because I was listening to Law of Destruction earlier and old Crypt Kicker, trying to get my, you know, back to where I was. But yeah, it's a totally different style, and it was totally different. They're totally different melodic kind of element to it. And yeah, can you explain that to me?
Yeah, that pretty much was just the opportunity. I think if it would have been like, you know, the singer from, you know, Cannibal Corpse, you know, wanted to start a freaking band, you know, or something, you know, you probably would have done, you know, oh, it's an opportunity. But no, I mean, I do like that kind of metal. And, you know, the harsher stuff just doesn't, it's not appealing to, you know, not that I want to go mainstream, or it was a conscious effort to do something more mainstream, which, you know, I don't know if our stuff was really mainstream, but I mean, it's definitely not as harsh as like Crypt Kicker or Law of Destruction, you know, vocally and speed wise, you know, tempo. Probably not as brutal or as thrashy as stuff, but yeah, I think it was just the opportunity to jam with Ripper. And if, you know, plus I love the way the guy sings, is awesome.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, just more, I think, appealing in the long run to more people, you know, overall.
What do you like to play the most? What style do you like? The really heavy, like Law of Destruction? Is that your what's your favorite type of metal to play? Do you like the challenge of the real fast, heavy stuff?
Yeah, I like a little everything, you know, but I love, I'm not like I wish I was more progressive, and but I do like stuff with time signatures and some changes and stuff like that. But yeah, probably, I mean, I like to be challenged with music too, because it's like, you're just sitting back here, okay, when's the next song coming up? You know, 'cause this is boring. That's not fun either. You want the song to kind of challenge you to where it's a challenge to play, you know. But yeah, I like all that stuff too, you know, the thrashy, heavier stuff to the more melodic metal. I like, be honest with you, I've been like listening to more like friggin' underground country and stuff like that, and just I would play stuff like that if I could find dudes that could play it. But
so we're gonna start a death country band? Is that what we're talking about?
Death country.
A new subgenre. Thank you.
Yeah. Bluegrass Slayer tribute. I've been wanting to do that for years, man. Larry Yost, if you're listening, it was your idea. I think we talked about this a long time ago, because I can't play banjo. I just had the vision.
Yeah, I can play the jug, or like the, you know, like the I can sit with a pair of overalls, and
I can do the washboard. You know,
like
Montag will do the jug, I'll do the washboard.
Like the old hostile Amish.
Remember the Juice Harp thing was like
Yeah,
a little rubber band.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, years
That's what I'm bringing
ago,
to the table. Juice Harp, baby.
I had talked with some other guys about doing a Slayer tribute band, but we wanted to call it Lounge of Heaven, where we were doing like crooner style. You know, imagine Frank Sinatra singing Slayer. You know, whoa,
I
how
had a good idea.
Schwitz, the meaning
I don't know
of
if it's a good
pain,
idea.
the way that I
On
want
and
you
on
to
south
die.
of heaven.
Like,
Perfection.
I thought that'd be awesome.
Perfection.
A
So
buddy
Vic,
of
we got to
mine,
get you in here, man.
Mhm.
we worked together. We
Beautiful.
had the idea of having like a two-guy like singing duo that did like love songs, but they were the insensitive bastards, and they would be like real like mean to each other in the crowd in between songs, real insulting, but they would play like really sappy love songs and like really good crooner ballad type stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Why? Yeah.
But I
That sounds
couldn't
like
pull
a
that
va-
off either. I just have
Yeah.
these ideas, but I can't pull them off. I can't play free guitar and other shit. I can sing a little, but yeah, the guitar part. Yeah.
I think
Say
Death
that for the
Country,
guitar.
I think you could pull off some Death Country, some kind of, yeah, we got to come up with a good term for a death metal country band. I don't know what the hell
like
you would
that.
call that.
Yeah,
He's
he's the bust of Rob.
Like George Jones, he stopped loving her today because she's cold or something like that. You know?
Cold
Yeah.
apple.
Mhm.
You don't stop. Dead girls can't say no.
That never stopped George Jones.
Stop hasn't stopped anybody.
Right.
And you had talked about earlier, it said you'd always felt like you were just a lucky fan. Looking back, has there been a change of heart, or do you still feel like I was just the luckiest fucking fan in the world?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's kind of remained. I was just fortunate. I got, because Ripper is talented and well known enough that he could have anybody playing with him, but he kind of, wanted to keep it like a hometown kind of, local guy, band, instead of recruiting guys from around the country to play on this record, which he could do, but
Mhm.
yeah, I just felt fortunate, I mean, I think I worked hard and put in a lot of time and effort, learning my craft. And you think hopefully that maybe, I guess when you're first playing, you do it for the love of it. And, you look up to bands and musicians. You're like, wow, that would be great to be a rock star, but you don't ever really think that one day maybe it will happen. But yeah, it was just, I
kind of happened for you.
Yeah, it's like, I don't have any regrets. Like, it is what it is. It would be great to make a living playing music and being able to do what you love and tour and stuff like that. That would be great. And I just know that's kind of past now, but I would still like to play and do stuff, original metal now at this point in my life. But no, basically looking back, I feel just fortunate enough to be there and hey, in the right place at the right time. And, you look back and think, if I could have done this different, or maybe things with the band happened differently, it would have worked out differently, to where, we would have been, continued and maintained a career or something together as a band. But you never know,
Yeah.
We might have recorded that second album and it would have been done anyway after that. But
Right. I mean, and when you met him, I mean, I hate to keep on going back to these things, but they're just, we're just hanging out and talking. Was he in that same kind of mindset as you were? Like, he's just this guy from Akron who kind of just lucked into playing with two of the biggest metal bands on the planet.
No, Tim was always pretty gracious and he's always seemed humble to me, like I think he felt he was fortunate. I think he always knew in the back of his mind that, eventually if Rob Halford wanted back in the band, he was going to be back in the band. There's no
right.
He wasn't going to stay in the way. It was funny though when we toured. There'd be people with their Rockstar DVDs from the movie with Mark Wahlberg, and he would sign the DVD like Tim Ripper, Mark Wahlberg.
Nice.
But he would write both names in the autograph. It was funny.
That's good.
He took it in stride. Yeah, it was always fun. We always had a good time, pretty for the most. He didn't, he took the gig serious. He didn't want you fucking up, He
Right.
let you know too if you did. Which, hey, that's his livelihood,
Sure.
Yeah.
So you got to be a professional and hold it together and stuff and things. Yeah, but
Well, give him
Yeah,
a
I think
call.
he's
Tell him
always
we want
kinda-
to talk to him. He'll
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, give him a buzz. Come back
News
on.
Horror is a
Come
great
back on.
podcast.
Bring
It's
Ripper
never
on.
heard, and,
We'll have both of you
Eric
guys on.
who? You'd have better luck than me.
Lie
You
about
probably
our
have better luck
popularity.
than Right.
Yeah.
He just hang up. Like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, I'm busy.
Oh man.
For the last time, we're not doing another album.
All right. So about that reunion, Tim.
Leave me alone. Lose my number.
Right.
Yeah. And don't call Joey Belladonna either.
You've been telling me next week for 13 years now.
Oh man.
Next week, bro. Next week, I swear. It's on.
So who are you listening to now? You said earlier that you were like listening to the classic bands that you hadn't heard for a while, but are you you have like any plans to go to any festivals, or are there any bands that you want to check out at all that you're aware of?
Man, that's a good question because it's weird. Yeah, I seem to just be going back to the old stuff over and over. I feel like one of those old guys is like, oh yeah, my music was better than your music.
It's true though.
I want to discover all new stuff because you just get bored with.
Right.
So I basically I've been going back to like old bands that I've liked, but maybe I didn't hear their whole catalog or something,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of cool because it's still brand new if you've never heard it, no matter how old it is. It's 50 years
Right.
old, it's still new to you. So
Yeah.
that's the way I always kind of looked at music because I have like kids, and they're discovering like all this stuff that I grew up on, and it's new to them, and it's like, wow, it doesn't matter how old it is, it's still brand new to them,
Right.
in a lot of ways.
Really cool.
And my
Yeah.
son's playing I was talking to you guys earlier, he's playing Fortnite with his buddies who are 8 years old, and he's down here jamming Accept, and like, like Iron Maiden and all these other bands, and he's like asking them like, hey, you ever heard of Last in Line by Dio? And they're like, he's got his mouthpiece on, he's playing
Well, back in
Fortnite.
my day.
Yeah. You ever heard Last in Line by Dio? And they're like, who? They're listening to friggin' Bruno Mars and whatever bullshit,
Yeah, he's gonna mature early. All that
Yeah.
Maiden's gonna come in and kick in that testosterone, and
Right.
he's gonna go, thank you, Dad.
I love it. But yeah, he's discovering the stuff on his own too on YouTube, because each, you get into these videos and it just leads you into a wormhole of other stuff, and he's finding stuff on his own. It's funny, But yeah,
as far
I
as
don't
new
know. There's a
bands,
lot of
Eric,
new
I would recommend. I'm sorry. As far as new bands, though, I'd recommend. I just talked to the guys earlier today about Rivers of Nile out of Pennsylvania. That drummer is very interesting, really cool. There's a lot of emotive stuff coming out of that. They got brutal death metal kind of vocals, progressive death. That's it's very, you can understand every word he's saying, and the guitar work and everything. The melodies are just beautiful. So I'm a really big fan of that. But you want something to give you a shout out to? They're really cool.
Right. I was getting into that band Havoc and some of that kind of neo thrash stuff. I don't know, or newer thrash bands. They've been around a little while, but they're newer, younger thrash guys. And I don't know, there's other bands I can't think of off of hand. But I'm gonna check out that Brainstorm too. But yeah, I just want to find other stuff that haven't heard before. I just have to start, picking people's brains like you guys and other buddies and say, hey, what's the album of the week I should listen to?
We'll talk to the savant.
Check with Rain Man right
Talk
here.
to the
He'll hook you
savant.
up.
Yeah.
He'll hook you up.
Well, I mean, what's the newest stuff you've been listening to? Like the newest. What's the most recent band you've listened to?
Let me see. There's this Norwegian band that's kind of different. They're called Kvelertak. They're like, which means chokehold in Norwegian. So they're like, they kind of got like this old school like rock and roll vibe to the riffs, but it's really hardcore, like freaking vocals, like screaming, like a hardcore, band style vocals with like it's just weird, like 70s kind of riffs underneath it, and they mix up the Norwegian black metal in it too, but there's no double bass. It's all just played like a lot of rock driving, no double bass. It's real stripped down,
straight ahead, no
and,
double bass. Yeah,
it's cool. It's just different. They sound different. That's why I just been trying to find things that are just, I don't know, different, don't sound like everybody else in a way.
right.
Are you into like progressive at all? Prog? Are you into prog metal? Are you into prog at all?
I like that Necrophagist a little bit. I've been getting into them a bit, and the Aristocrats are more like progressive jazz rock fusion more than metal, but I like a lot of that stuff too. That's really cool.
I humbly suggest Opeth is a great band to
I love Opeth. Yep.
Yeah, Opeth, right? And the new stuff, like the
them.
Ukrainian death metal scene or metalcore scene, like bands like Ginger, those guys are super exciting. Just really a lot of syncopation, time changes, great heavy riffing. I think you would really love it. And the singer is she's awesome.
All over the place, you know.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, she's got great clean and death metal vocals.
I think they're a Czech death metal band, Decapitated. They're pretty cool.
I really recommend, and I really like the new Carcass. I've been a fan of them since Hard Work On. I'll tell you, they took it to another level. Granted, it's not the grindcore, and they were pioneers, but not myself.
Yeah, you could only do that for so long.
Yeah, I like Carcass. I had Symphonies of Sickness on cassette.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? It was so brutal. You know, it was way beyond what I liked. I mean, it was just too hard for me. But then Heartwork, really, that's like the beautiful album. Oh, Eric's gone.
There he's back.
There we are.
Yeah, Heartwork's a great album. I've reached out to those guys too, and I haven't really heard back. So Carcass, if you're listening, come on the show. See how much fun we're having.
We want to talk about your Pepper album cover, your Pepper Heart. We want to know about that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting cover art there, Vic. Very cool. And on the back of it, you got all these, pigs and stuff within the heart. So it's like, okay.
Speaking of artwork, Vic, I like the new artwork for the album, man. It's killer.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Looks really good. I seen you posted that,
I don't want to. This show's not about me, so I'm not. We'll talk about that though.
You can still talk about it. We're all here, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I've been working with that guy for a while, and he's done art for me for several projects, and absolutely love every single time. You just kind of go, hey man, this is what I'm thinking, and then he hits you with something that is, tenfold what you thought you had in mind, and you're just like, fucking awesome. I love that kind of stuff. You're like, yes.
Yeah. It looks like
really great, Vic.
Yeah, thank you.
Really great.
I mean, if I had a van, that's the kind of shit I'd put on the side. With my shag inside.
Yes.
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
And like the license plate would say "getting some."
Black lights in there.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm getting a van again. I sold my old van. I'm going to get another one. I'm doing it.
My favorite bumper sticker was in the Ringworm Road van. It said, "We finger and headbang." That was my favorite bumper sticker ever.
Oh, that's great, man.
Oh, goodness.
Man, wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I have so many questions I didn't ask that I think wouldn't even fit anymore. Yeah. It's like we just had such a great time, hanging out with you, Eric, and
same here, fellas.
It's just, I'm glad to catch up with you, glad to finally tell the great Pukorama story, and it's just kind of cool to see, to talk with you and talk about, here's someone we know. I mean, I know you vicariously through Dreadbull there, but you've had this level of success that pretty much any musician would scream for. I mean, and you and Vic have had quite a bit of success in what you do. I know the Cleveland metal scene's not really around anymore, not like it used to be.
Right.
So I know it's a lot harder to get out there. So, but just hearing these stories, you know, for someone who's played since I was 10, always wanted to do that. And I did the college circuit, you know, college bands and goofing around. But that was always like in the back of my mind. That's like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do, because I saw Gene Simmons spit blood. I'm like, fuck, that's what I want to be, you know?
Right.
When I was
right.
like, you know, 10
I
years
forgot
old,
about
like,
that.
yeah.
Kiss. Yeah, Kiss. When you were mentioning it, how could I forget about Kiss as a kid? You know, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
yeah,
no,
you know,
exactly.
like, huge influence, right?
Yeah.
It's like
If it wasn't
you
for
see
Kiss,
that, it's like, hell yeah, that's what I want to do,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm like, what is this? You know, and it was just, you know, Kiss Mania was everywhere, you know. You got to talk to your cousin though, Eric. He won't listen to Kiss. So just letting you know. Yeah. I've been,
For shame.
I knew you wouldn't let that slide. I'm like, is he gonna really not say anything? Oh no!
No, maybe
Don't you wait for it.
Call me out.
Eric, just tell him to listen to War
he's probably gonna
Machine,
start
or
rooting
you're
for the
just
Steelers soon,
owning
too.
him as family. Yeah, War Machine. That's it. War Machine.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was just so influential. You know, it was around everywhere. And I don't think it's one of those bands like when kids who were a generation before us saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, they were like, that's what I want to be. You know, and
Right.
we grew up
Parents.
thinking, because Kiss was the first big band that was so popular. I mean, fucking Toys and on TV. I mean, everybody I knew loved Kiss, and it was just like, yep, that's it. That's what I want to be. You know, and
Yeah.
I even in the one of the bands I was in college, the Escape Fetal Pigs, I wrote a song. I want to be just like Gene Simmons, and in that song, I would spit blood. I would like, you know, I did this. I'd have usually Jello or something in my mouth, like it'd come out. You know, it was just because I wanted to do that whole shtick. You know, it was like too much fun. You know, like who doesn't want to do that? You know.
Yeah, right. Right.
So, well, when you want to work on the Country Death Band or Lounge of Heaven, we've got enough musicians here. Chop Top plays guitar. Vic's an amazing guitarist. You know,
I can help write some lyrics. I
It's
can come
fun.
up with some lyrics for a country death metal.
I'm a
Some
fairly
Lounge of Heaven.
decent writer.
Lounge of Heaven, baby. Come on. Let's get it going.
We get some leisure suits.
Country
You know,
Death.
Right.
well, we can have multiple bands, but
I had a tentative title for Sphincter Tickler.
nice.
Yeah.
Look,
Oh, man. You know, I don't want to cut this prematurely, but it's 9 o'clock, and I know I don't want to keep you, Eric, but
It's
wow,
okay.
I can't believe 2 hours went by. Like
I know it was crazy. But
Such a great time.
can you come back sometime and hang out with us?
Yeah, I'd love to, man. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank
It
you,
was
Eric.
great. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you, Mark, my
Appreciate it.
cousin. It's sad we haven't seen each other for years. Probably the
I
last
know.
time we saw each other was at a funeral, you know.
It probably was. Yeah,
It sucks,
unfortunately.
but-
Yeah, we got to stay in touch, man.
Love you,
It's a
man.
Good excuse to love you too. Good excuse to get back together and
Yeah.
For real.
you know.
And now that we do this, Mark will
Metal.
give you a prize. But no, if you
Right.
want to join us for shows, I'll put you in the group. You know,
Yeah,
Eric.
if we ever have a guest that you like or want to come on and talk to them,
Discussion or something.
yeah, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome,
be
man.
part of
Okay,
it.
cool.
I'd be honored.
I'll bring you in the group,
Sure.
and I'll send you an invite. And because we do both heavy metal and horror, we also do stuff with movies
Oh,
as
okay.
well. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm not sure if you're into the horror scene at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
Cool.
All right.
And as
There you go.
Halloween's coming around, we're doing a lot more horror. Because now with the Browns on, Mark's going to take time to watch the Browns, and I don't want to interfere with that.
Yep.
So we can do those movie things too, because he doesn't want to use the DVR. Calling me a Luddite?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
about
Dreadbull.
that, man.
Oh, you
Okay.
can't.
The DVR,
It's
though.
not
You don't
about.
wanna-
It's not about the
You didn't
tech.
want to
It's
use
about.
you didn't want to use the DVR after today.
I gotta
Whoa.
watch the Browns live, pal. You can't be watching the Browns on a time delay.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
live sports.
I agree.
So,
All right.
Right.
is there anything anymore questions we want to ask? We've asked so much, and
One final question.
The wild card.
Yeah.
Wild
we got
card.
to spin the
bitches.
wheel too.
Okay. Did you guys pull Crypt Kicker for Monster Mash?
We did.
Crypt Kicker
Yeah, we
5.
did.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Answers that.
There you go,
There you
Bobby
go.
Boris.
We actually had a band say, hey, they were going to sue us if we didn't. It was like a stop and desist, kind of.
Yeah.
There's like another band called the Crypt Kickers. And then you had like Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kicker 5. But yeah, that's where we stole it from, was the Monster Mash,
Okay.
Oh wow. Cool, man.
All right. We're gonna do
And they
one
sucked,
final
yep.
one final question.
One final question on
Oh,
the big wheel. Bring up the
there we
big
go.
wheel. Oh, he lost
Where's
his
that?
big wheel.
Where'd the hell the big wheel go?
You lost the big wheel.
Oh.
You lose.
Oh no,
Come
there
on,
it is.
Dana.
There it
Okay.
is. I didn't lose it. I didn't lose the big wheel.
You're lucky.
There it is. Well, okay. This
Uh-oh.
is the big wheel.
There it is.
All right, Eric. Last question on the big
Spin
wheel.
it.
It's spinning.
Coming around. What do we got here?
Oh,
Oh, I like this.
it says, okay. If you weren't a rock star, what would you be doing instead?
I think we already know.
I think we already do that. Yeah.
Drywall.
That's
Drywall.
There you go.
That's
Selling-
what really I want. You know how much pussy
Man,
I
I
get
tell
with
you.
drywall?
I
Okay.
don't know how awesome drywall
All
is.
right. Here we go. Okay. Go. I think you answered this too. The last concert you attended, you said Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah, actually last
Oh.
night. Yeah.
There you
Blackberry
go.
Smoke and Nautica last
This
night.
wheel
was amazing.
sucks.
Wow, this wheel is really going over like a beer fart church right now.
Well, you know.
Vic, who hasn't
Hey,
been on
Mark.
a show in like 4 months. You
Mark.
suck.
Oh, we ought to get that again. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Forget it. Scrap
the
that
wheel.
idea.
The wheel's a
It's a
bummer.
work in progress.
Edit that garbage out. That was a
Well,
waste of
send
time.
me some things you want on the wheel. I just
All
looked
right,
up those
we're gonna-
quickly.
Real quick
Oh.
in closing, I got
Okay.
a story about me and Mark when we were kids. Our
Okay.
grandmother had passed away. It's not really a funny story, but it is kind of funny. Mark, do you remember at our grandmother's funeral when it's quiet except for like my aunts and family members crying and mourning and
Right.
there's this really animated organ player lady who was like strict like organ like church lady with the
Uh-huh.
long dress down to the all
Yeah,
the way
that
down
old
to the
that old
ankles.
Baptist church type stuff, the old Southern Baptist.
Yeah. Well, you and I are sitting next to each other. I'm like 12 and I think you're 14. And it's we're trying not to laugh, but the lady was so animated. She's up there like, getting into it. And it would be really quiet and like calm, and then all of a sudden she'd start raging, I look at Mark and I'm trying not to laugh.
Yeah,
And
she's
we're
like a
fucking laughing.
keyboardist in a metal band or something. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It was
Yeah.
like she
At a
was John
funeral.
Lawrence from Deep Purple and shit, But I'm like trying not to laugh. Here I am laughing at my grandmother's funeral. I'm laughing at the organ lady player,
Yes,
Oh
I do
my
remember that. Oh
And then
my
the
God.
pressure to
I just
not
remember
laugh.
like I was
Oh my gosh.
struggling to hold it in. I mean struggling because I didn't want my mom and dad to
Yeah,
kill
you're
me,
gonna get your ass whooped if you get caught laughing at your grandma's funeral.
Knowing
Yeah.
that makes it harder to not
Yeah.
laugh.
Then you're looking at each other, you're red faced, you're trying to hide,
Yeah.
and it just makes it
I'm
worse.
looking at
Yeah,
Mark, he was looking at me.
we're just having a hoot at
It's like, is
grandma's
that
funeral.
John Lord up there, or what's going on?
Yeah, it was one of those moments when you shouldn't be laughing. It makes it all that much harder to not laugh. Oh.
Oh, it's
But
great.
yeah, I'm sorry. All right, you guys.
No,
need
no, that's
to get out of
fantastic.
here. So
No,
Totally
no,
fine,
no.
man.
We can stay on. I just didn't want to keep you, and I know, everybody.
no, I
don't
know
know
it's getting late.
Yes, this is
Thank you,
officially the
fellas. I
longest show
appreciate
we've
it.
ever done. So,
I think so.
you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're over
Thanks
2 hours now. We're
Thanks
at
for
2
bringing
hours.
that up. That was I
Yeah,
forgot.
that's fantastic.
Oh, I forgot.
I
all
might,
about that.
I might move that to the beginning of the show to start the show off with a nice bumper there. That's a good story to get everyone involved. Like, laughing at a
She's
funeral.
like
What?
she's playing Phantom of the Opera up there. Liberace on the
We got a
funeral
bumper right
keyboard.
there.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah, that's why I
guys.
said she
We got
looked
a
like
bumper.
John Lawrence from Deep Purple and shit.
Oh man, I'm getting a headache from laughing. now.
Yeah, that's great.
All right,
Wow.
I'll let you guys go. Thanks for having me, fellas.
Hey, my pleasure. Hold
Oh,
on. We're
yes,
going to
thank
sign
you so
off.
much
Here.
for coming
We're
on.
going to sign off. So you just hold on because we're going to invite you in. You're going to say our outro with us. So you can find Heavy Metal Horror on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook at Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. And our brand new YouTube page. This is where you're at. If you're watching Heavy Metal Horror Podcast, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Got to do that. And so this has been Montag, Master of Illusion.
And Chop Top.
And the Dreadbull.
And Vic.
It's Vic.
And you. been listening to, come on in, Eric.
Heavy
Metal Horror.
Look at the metal rings up there. Nice.
Yeah. Nice. There we go.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.